house is burning, but we're still sitting in the glow. Phones charged, lights on, pretending we don't know. But the forest is silent, the river's running low, and the flame on our plates is the strongest fire we throw. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Echoes and rise, this is your hour. 7 boundaries broken, the earth pushed past the line. Climate, land, species, fresh water, chemicals, nutrients, oceans in decline. Not danger, disaster in real time. Put out the fire, ooh, put out the fire. Metaphorians rise, this is your power. And here in India, one truth stands the same. Milk is not just milk, dairy feeds the flame. Cows and methane, fields and forests turn to grain. Politics, culture, carbon, all wired to the same chain. Every cup of curd is heat in the air, every block of butter is a forest repair. It's not a small habit, it's a planetary affair. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Echoes and rise, this is our hour. Energy fixes half the hurt, Dr. Rao made that clear. But food fixes the other half, the half that's burning here. Change the plate, change the land, change the future's atmosphere. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Metaphorians unite, this is your choir. Every millet, every fruit, every sapseed, every bean is water on the wildfire of a world we've never seen. Every oil-free bite is a river turning clean. This is not perfection, it's direction. Not pressure, but protection. A week of choices can cool a generation. A company's courage can ignite a nation. Put out the fire, ooh, put out the fire. Echoes and rise, this is your hour. Metaphorians unite, Metaphorians ignite, sharing love in the metazone, lighting the path to a cooler home. Put out the fire, ooh, put out the fire. Together we rise, together we inspire.
Welcome to the Planet B podcast, where truth, transformation, and faith converge. Join us as we flip the script on ecological despair, guided by Dr. Sailesh Rao's vision for a compassionate, rewilded vegan world. Let's begin the journey to the greatest transformation in human history.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to episode 8, The Worst Planetary Boundary Transgression. Dr. Rao, thank you so much for joining us once again.
Thank you. Thank you for doing this. I'm really enjoying this, yeah.
Me too. It's been a pleasure. So as we start today, Dr. Rao, if you don't mind, let's start with that very eye-opening quote that you begin chapter 8 with.
Yeah, the quote is from E.O. Wilson. And he said, if we save the living environment, the biodiversity that we have left, then we will also automatically save the physical environment. If we only save the physical environment, then we will ultimately lose both. So basically he's saying focus on life and then focus on technology, not the other way around. Whereas if you look at the way we are trying to solve it right now, it's by just changing from fossil fuel cars to electric cars and putting solar panels on our roof. That you're trying to save the physical environment only. You're not addressing the living environment. So it's the opposite of what he's saying.
All right. And when you look at the worst planetary boundary transgression, which is the topic of the episode, it's all life on our planet. Right. And that's what's in the purple.
Absolutely. Because every other transgression impacts life. So this is why this is the worst transgression. Because it's a leading indicator for how soon do you have to transform your civilization. And wildlife is dying really fast. Especially animals with the same weight class as us, right? Or even higher. They are the ones who are dying the fastest.
And why is that, do you think? Why does it point directly to that type of animal?
Because they compete with us for resources, for our food and so on, right? So we are killing them off because we are stronger than them, right? And so we keep growing our economy. I did my calculations assuming that the rate at which wild animals are dying is proportional to the size of our economy. And that seems to be a very good proxy for predicting how fast wild animals are going to die off.
Wow.
So the more you grow the economy, the more they're going to die off. So it's clearly, correlated.
So when we go into this specific planetary boundary transgression, what is the overall impact that it's having on our planet?
It's basically destabilizing the life support systems of the planet, because animals are part of nature. The life support systems are not just the food that we eat, it's also the oxygen that we breathe, the clean water that we drink, and so on. All those things are being impacted, right? So the food that we eat is getting contaminated. Not only our food, but all the animals' food is also getting contaminated. The air that we breathe is getting polluted. People are dying of breathing polluted air. In lots of places, they're dying already. And then the water that we drink is contaminated. So as we impact the life support systems like this, eventually life cannot continue anymore. And the whole thing collapses. Right. Because if trees are not able to filter the water anymore, what are they going to do? They're going to just literally die. See, if trees die, then oxygen stops getting produced. Then you cannot breathe oxygen and you die because of that. Not only trees, but also the ocean is producing oxygen. And there again, we are impacting, right, the life support systems. So the worst planetary boundary transgression in the chapter, I talk about biodiversity loss, but there are two of them that have been rated in the purple zone. So it's biosphere integrity and chemical pollution, according to the 2025 Planetary Health Check report, which came out after my book got published. Okay, so in 2025 they said there were 7 planetary boundary transgressions, not 6. So they added ocean acidification as a planetary boundary transgression. And they also rated these two as purple, chemical pollution and biosphere integrity.
All right. So in Chapter 8, you share data from the World Wildlife Fund and highlight how their report released every 2 years is basically reporting what's 4 years ago.
Right. Yeah.
So essentially, when we get these reports, the numbers are much lower than they probably actually are at the time that we received the report.
Correct, yeah. So you have to extrapolate for at least another 4 years to see where we are today, right? So in 2014, the report said that between 1970 and 2010, we wiped out 52% of all the wild animals on the planet. And that's a survey of over 3,000 or 4,000 species, different kinds of species. And they add up the total weight of the species. And that's how they come up with the number, this one single number. Now, that number, between 10,000 years ago and 1970, we had already wiped out 60% of the wild animals on the planet. So this 52% is on top of the 60%.
Wow.
Okay, so which means 52% of the remaining 40% that was there, that we wiped out. Which means what is left is really, we have wiped out then more than 80% for all the wild animals that lived 10,000 years ago, as of 2010.
That's shocking.
Right? As of 2010. And that report came out in 2014. And then in 2016, they said 52% became 58% by 2012. So it went from 52% to 58% in 2 years. So which means that we are on track to hit 100% by 2026. That's what I calculated. This is why 2026 became this magic year that I wanted to get the world to go vegan by, right? And even then you could say, why wait till 2026? You should have done it right then. As soon as we discovered, right, we should be doing it. Of course, it takes time for us to digest the data and understand what's really going on. But if you don't do it by 2026, we have no business pretending to be an intelligent species. I don't want to hear about human supremacism anymore. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to hear about that at all, because you've established that you're not only are we lacking in intelligence, we are probably less intelligent than the least intelligent of all the other species. Okay, so let's start. To me, it's just the exact opposite is what we are showing. We're pretending to be the superior species, and we are doing the exact opposite of what an intelligent species would do.
And what is that to you, Dr. Rao? How would you define an intelligent species?
An intelligent species understands how to adapt to changing environmental circumstances. That's the first sign of intelligence, right? You know how to live. If you don't know how to live, you're going to be wiped out.
That's quite simple.
Right? And I see mice know better to do that than human beings. They all know how to adapt. We haven't adapted yet. We haven't even understood our own data.
And it's something really interesting in this chapter is you talk about how each animal, including humans, and the human side is more in the next chapter, but how each animal, each plant, they all play a role. And you share this beautiful story of the elephant and the jackfruit.
Yeah.
So maybe just share a little bit about, because it goes back to your definition, I think, really of adaptation and just belonging to nature. But what is this role that including humans, we all play on Mother Earth?
Yeah, every species plays a role in maintaining life on the planet and enabling life to thrive on the planet. Every species plays a role. If you don't have a role, you'll be wiped out. Nature is very, very unforgiving that way. She says, okay, I don't need this excess. You're gone, right? You don't get enough food and you die. And so every species plays a role. The elephant is very good at transporting jackfruit seeds and spreading the jackfruit tree far and wide. This is why the jackfruit tree offers the fruit to the elephant. A jackfruit has such thick skin that if we didn't have huge knives and oil, you wouldn't be able to cut into a jackfruit. Okay? Try eating a jackfruit with your own teeth. It's impossible. No animal can eat it except the elephant. Or, birds with long beaks can eat it because they have to make a hole in that and then eat. So you'll see actually, if you look at a jackfruit tree, you may see a jackfruit with a hole in it. You know that the jackfruit is ripe because a bird started eating it. And then an elephant comes and grabs the entire jackfruit, puts it in her mouth, and eats it. Okay? And she can eat it with the skin because her mouth is huge and she's got big, big teeth.
And she's vegan.
And she's vegan, right? She eats the whole jackfruit, and then including the seeds. So the jackfruit has like hundreds of seeds inside. And then she goes and poops, like after walking 50 miles, she poops the seeds out. And so now the seeds not only have on soil, but they also have a manure, to help this jackfruit tree grow. So the jackfruit tree intended its fruit for the elephant, and it's using the elephant to propagate itself. Okay? This is how the Western Ghats forests grew. Okay? And so every animal, if you understand its role in the ecosystem, you see how it's contributing to make life thrive. Biodiversity loss to me is us going and ripping out this beautiful system and making holes in it. It's us thinking that our needs are much more important. Not only our needs, but our wants, our desires are much more important than the lives of other animals, the lives of other species, right? So my taste buds are more important than the life of an animal,
Yeah,
That's
but then
okay.
it's interesting because it also goes back to the economy side of it. Because you talk about that's, growing the economy is that desire for more, and essentially that's what's wiping out these beautiful systems.
Correct, yeah. Wanting to grow whatever you have. Everybody wants to grow whatever they have. And that's how the human economy functions today. And that growth as the master objective is the fundamental cause of all the environmental problems we are creating. And growth to me should not be an objective at all. So we'll come into that too. We'll talk about that in later chapters.
Yeah. So I think it's just so interesting. If I go back to the elephant and the jackfruit, it's the height that the jackfruit tree grows. It's the size of the fruit. It's the size of the elephant eating it, and then even the walking and going to the bathroom as it walks is all a part of this perfect system. Correct.
Yeah. This system that takes, that replenishes itself and creates more and more of itself. So to get a forest to flourish, you need the elephant. You need all the insects. You need all the animals, because every animal is playing some role there. Okay. And if you remove that animal, so if you cause a species to die out, you're creating a hole in that tapestry of life, which you have to somehow fill. If you think about what our Native Americans, ancestors, how they adapted. Initially, of course, they were also in the destructive mode, right? So they were killing off these big animals when they first migrated into North America. So they killed all the big grazers. And these grazers used to go and eat a whole large area of grass in California. And that prevented forest fires from becoming big. So these grazers were doing the role of controlling forest fires from lightning. Okay. Now once they killed off all the grazers, all the big grazers, the megafauna, the mammoths and so on. There used to be elephants in North America. They're no longer here. Okay. Once they did that, our Native American ancestors used to deliberately set fires to prevent lightning from creating large wildfires. They used to deliberately set fires over a certain area as if the megafauna had come and eaten that area.
Yeah. They tried to replace it.
Yeah, they had to mimic what the animals were doing. Okay. Now, they didn't do too much of this destruction. Then they started adapting and they started living in harmony with nature. Okay, way back. We still, the Western civilization still hasn't gotten to that point yet. But we have created so many little holes that we have to figure out how to fill. This is why we probably need AI to help us, to say, how do you fill this hole? How do you fill that hole? But I think that if we start today, if we all go vegan and start restoring the forest today, we can probably fix it. Or at least we can try to fix it.
And even in some forests that have been rewilded, very just in a short period of time, the data shows that the animals do return.
Do return, yeah, they do return. In fact, there's one incident, I went to this village in Orissa, which is in India. It's a state in India. And in this village, they had dug some holes to create a catchment for rainwater. Okay? And so they created a lake. So it's a lake way in the interior. And they said, we don't know how it happened, but there are fish in the lake.
Wow.
How did they get there?
How did they get there?
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. Nature
That's
is amazing,
incredible.
right? I mean, I'm sure if you go figure it out, I'm sure there are eggs, fish eggs floating in the air and coming down and falling in the rain somewhere.
But it goes back to if we just allow nature to repair itself and just reintegrate into that system, it gives us the best chance to fix this problem very quickly.
Correct. Yeah. That's exactly what E.O. Wilson was saying. Saying if you work on the living environment and fix that, you will automatically save the physical environment.
Wow.
You know? So the cleanup of the air and all that, cleanup of the water, all that will happen if we just try to fix biodiversity.
Yeah. So that's
Okay.
a beautiful segue into, if you'd like to share this. You started with a quote from E.O. Wilson, and then also you ended the chapter with a quote from.
Yeah, because he told us, he said that the worst thing that will probably happen, in fact is already underway, is not energy depletion, economic collapse, conventional war, or the expansion of totalitarian governments. As terrible as these catastrophes would be for us, they can be repaired in a few generations. The one process going on now that will take millions of years to correct is the loss of genetic and species diversity by the destruction of natural habitats. This is the folly our descendants are least likely to forgive us.
Strong statement.
Yeah, that's what he said before he died. Each one of us are indebted to him for all the work he did. In fact, I think I use his quote again in the next chapter too.
As we kind of complete chapter 8, what is the solution for this biospheric integrity red alert that we currently face?
The number one thing we can do to address this is to go vegan as quickly as possible. Okay? It's a systems issue. You have to basically figure out what is the one thing you could do that would return land back to nature, that would return the ocean back to nature. If I were to wave a magic wand and make the world go vegan overnight and eliminate the entire animal agriculture industry, then you will return 40% of the land back to nature as well as the entire ocean back to nature. That's 80% of the Earth's surface will return back to nature. And nature will start repairing everywhere. Okay, she will try to start healing right away. And then you can help her. See, when you go help nature to heal, nature will assist you in healing. Like Sadhana Forest that I visit every year in India, nature planted twice as many trees as human beings planted.
Wow.
How did that happen? Well, the animals came because you created water for them. So they came and they brought seeds from wherever they were eating and they dropped it there.
So that's an example of how fast things can be How long did that take for the rewilding to happen?
Well, it started rewilding almost instantaneously. But they started the project in 2003 and by 2023, 2020, it was already a lush green forest. So it didn't take that long, 15 years, 17 years.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So it doesn't take long for the carbon to get sequestered right away. It will start sequestering right away. You will start seeing the impact within the first year if the world goes vegan.
It's so exciting to know that there's one solution that could create the effect of giving 80% of the earth back to nature. And it's right in front of us. It's just a choice that we have to make.
Right. It's a choice, and you have to then create a system around that choice. It's a choice, but it's very deceptively simple choice. But there is a whole system around it.
Right.
Okay. You have to create a system around transparency. You have to create a system around making sure that food is not commodified anymore. Food has to become a sacred relationship between human societies and between humans and the earth. It's not a commodity. It's not used for class warfare. It's not used as for making profit for people. Right? So we have to have a much more of a sacred relationship with nature as opposed to an extractive relationship.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So, Dr. Rao, as we wrap up Chapter 8, is there any closing message you'd like to share?
Yeah, I mean, what I see, is that this solution is not only going to solve our environmental problems, it also makes us happier. It makes us true to our nature, because fundamentally we are all animal lovers. All of us love animals. We see them as valuable co-pilots of planet Earth, of spaceship Earth.
Yeah.
And we
That's so
need
beautiful.
them.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Rao. So next, episode 9 is Chapter 9, Nature, the Perfect System Design. So we hope people join us for our next episode. And thank you so much, Dr. Rao, for your time.
This has been a podcast from Planet B, where the cows have personalities and opinions. If you haven't moved here yet, we thank you for visiting.